We like to start every morning with something we fondly refer to as the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. We try to figure out what does it mean so that we get closer to having some expertise in this field, but it can be overwhelming. So we give you the actual definition and then we make fun of that sometimes, and then we give you a working definition that makes the BCBAs break out into hives. There's some jargon for you already, BCBA. But that's not the jargon of the day. The jargon of the day, first time ever, ladies and gentlemen, unveiling it now, BCAT. What? New jargon? Okay, here we go. This is going to be, I think, really pivotal for all of us to understand what a BCAT is, but it's going to mean we're going to talk more about other jargon. But let's take a look first at what our actual definition for BCAT is. BCAT stands for Board Certified Autism Technician or Technicians. All right, if you haven't heard this term before, it's because it's relatively new. I think this is about almost 2 years old. And you are going to hear this much more. So fasten your seatbelts. Let's take a look at what our working definition. A BCAT is an autism-specific credentialed, it's a credential given after training, experience, and a rigorous exam. So back in the day, let's do the history lesson, right? History of autism. Back in the day, there was no certification for people working in the field of autism. But as ABA became the gold standard of autism treatment, there is something called the BACB. And they are a credentialing place that created something called the Board Certified Behavior Analyst. These are people who are trained in the field of ABA. But guess what? The field of ABA is not just autism. Autism is a part of it, and it is a growing part of it, but ABA has been around a really long time, and they've been using it for lots of different things. We've talked before on the show about how ABA is used in businesses. It's used with Olympic athletes. It's used in senior citizens' homes. It's a way, it's been found scientifically proven to be the most effective method of teaching all kinds of people, not just people on the autism spectrum. But it just so happens that when used with people with autism, it's very effective. So the BACB created a credential for a board certified behavior analyst, and we have been for years telling people, if you're going to be working with somebody, you should check to see that the person that is designing your program is a BCBA, right? But what about the people who, that's the person designing the program. What about the people who are actually doing the hands-on, day-to-day, minute-by-minute therapy with a child on the autism spectrum? This has been something that for the last no longer than that, I think more than probably 8 years, has been hotly debated. And it kind of goes in cycles depending on a couple of different things. Funding sources say, hey, if we're going to pay for this, then we want to make sure that it's somebody who actually knows what they're doing. We don't want to pay Joe Schmo from off the street to come in and supposedly do ABA with this kiddo on the autism spectrum that we're paying for, but does he really know what he's doing? We covered a story last week about somebody in London claiming that he could cure autism and going into a room with people and yelling at them, right? Nobody wants that, right? So funding sources have been asking for people to find a way to credential people to actually work in the field of autism, ABA, doing ABA for autism. Let's say that about it. But then what about the parents? Parents have been saying, excuse me, you're bringing somebody into my house. I want to know that they know what they're doing. I want to know that they're trained, and you know, I want to have some confidence in the fact that my kid is not, you know, the first kid that they've ever dealt with, and this is, you know, all new to them. And And in between, I think, states and governments have been looking at this saying, we'd like to have some confidence in recommending to families, whether it's for Medicaid or other purposes, that, you're going to get this service. We want to know that there's a level of what's happening, that we can count on, that people are trained and effective. So one of the first things that happened was an RBT, and we've covered that here on the show before. It's a registered behavior technician. And when you are an RBT, that means that you have been trained to understand ABA and how to deliver ABA. And that's a great thing. And I encourage parents that are out there and teachers that are out there. It's a 40-hour training that anybody can do, and you do take tests. But to become an RBT, and that is a credentialed thing as well. But the problem with it for ABA for autism is that it still wasn't autism specific. So now there is this new credential that is autism specific. So it is very intensive training in the field of ABA for autism, which is a pretty exciting thing, but it includes other things within that as well. And so first there's training, and then there's there's an hours requirement of working in the field of autism and being observed and being mentored, and then you have to pass the exam. I can tell you that I have been through almost all of the RBT training. I have been through a significant amount of the BCAT training, and I have taken the BCAT exam and passed the BCAT exam. I have not done the prerequisite number of hours to be considered and credentialed as a BCAT because I'm here. But I might do it. And I really want to encourage the parents that are watching. Well, let's back up. Teachers, parents, family members, even people who are on the autism spectrum. I want to encourage you to look at this and say, what would this benefit me if I were to go through this training? Well, first of all, if you're a parent or a teacher, your ability to work with the individual that you care about on the spectrum is going to go through the roof. Through the roof. Your ability to work with the professionals that are working on that child's case and to communicate them what that child needs, through the roof, right? You're going to streamline everything, because as you understand and as you're able to follow through, tight program, there's going to be good progress. But not only that, if you take the time to and I would encourage you to do both, do the RBT and do the BCAT, you are now a credentialed professional and have the ability to work in lots of different scenarios. It's a job skill. It is an amazing job skill that will serve you well. I will be honest that these certifications did not exist when my son was in his intensive ABA. And here's the other great thing about it is that a lot of this can be done on your own time at home through e-learning. Certainly not the hours component of the BCAT, but if things had been different and these had existed when we were doing our intensive behavioral intervention, I would have run, not walked, to have done these trainings, to have made my son's program better, and to have something to count for it. As it is, I think a lot of us went and did the equivalent and didn't get certified. I'd love to have that certification for the things that I've done. So I want to encourage all of you to be asking questions, first of all, of the people who are working on your cases. Are you BCBAs? Are you RBTs? Are you BCATs? Are you working towards that? But I really want to encourage you to get this yourself. I can highly recommend ibehavioraltraining.com. The Institute for Behavioral Training has all of we talk about this all the time with Dr. Graham-Pichet. They have trainings for professionals, they have trainings for parents, they have trainings for teachers. But they also have the very specific criteria to become an RBT or to become a BCAT, to take that training to get ready to sit for the exam. The exam is given, I think, 4 times of the year throughout the year, and it's not an easy exam, but I passed it, so I'm sure that you guys can if you do the coursework that goes before it. And really, what will happen is the coursework will make you a better parent, make you a better teacher, make you a better person able to understand other people's behavior. It's worth it, and it's not very expensive at all. The trainings are very inexpensive. It's a lot less than taking one college class. So there you go. BCAT, I know it sounds like a Halloween costume. It's not. It's a very new credential that is going to help insurance companies have faith in the fact that, and parents have faith in the fact that the individuals who are working with our kiddos are trained and know their stuff. They're professionals. It's a really good thing. Check it out.